All right, that's prayer. We'll get rocking and rolling. Father, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you how you blessed us over and over again. Father, we thank you for watching over us and bringing us to this point in our lives. Father, we ask tonight that you guide our hearts, guide our minds, and guide our understanding as we delve into your word and understand your word and understand your church. Father, be with those who are on the way to the building and their safe passage. They may be able to get here without any hurt, harm, or danger. Lord, we love you for all you do for us, all you've done for us, and what you continue to do, and how you continue to take care of us every day. Forgive us all our sins and word, thought, and deed. In Jesus' name we pray, that's it all. All right. Let's take us about 5 minutes. Y'all ought to be able to knock that little quiz out. There's 5 little questions that we put on there that you ought to be able to master those 5 questions. It's not too difficult. I've been running around all day long, but I took time to get my quiz done. Let me make sure I get this quiz. I said they're going to be expecting this quiz. They're going to be disappointed if I don't put this quiz together. So I said, let me make sure I put this little quiz together so they can look for that and do things. Pray for my wife and daughter. They won't be here tonight. They're getting ready. She got to get her hair done and all that stuff. Y'all know how they do for this trip that they got coming up. So Mama had to run her around to do that. So pray for them. And I'll be out next week. Next Wednesday, I got to go to Abilene just to take her some business with Terry. I go out there with him and do some things. And so Brother Gregory will be teaching next week. I'll give him the material. He'll be teaching the class next week. Then Thanksgiving week, we won't have class Thanksgiving week, okay? So I say we won't have class Thanksgiving week. That Wednesday of Thanksgiving, we will not have class. Excellent. Yeah, we won't be in class. So we'll take that week off. So it'll be 2. So I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. I guess it is. I think I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. But so that's what we have. So just got you can plan yourselves accordingly. So don't plan to come here on come next week now. But the week after that, don't come because we won't be here. We won't be here for class on that week. All right. Y'all. Well, I'm gonna give Sister Margaret a little time. Need a little time. All right, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna ride. Donna don't need no more time. She done sit outside and cheated the whole time. She done cheated and got caught. Look, she done got caught cheating. Yeah, I've come around. I come around to the corner. She got all kinds of Bible. She got notes all up and everything. So she missed one. I'm gonna have a problem. All right. So are you enjoying the classes? That's the first thing. Are we having a good time? That's the main thing. We want to have a good time with studying the Word of God and learning the Word of God. And then just learning about the church history. It's good to know because if you don't know your history, sometimes you'll continue to make the same mistakes over and over again because you just don't know. Okay. All right, let's rock and roll. Okay, number 1. All right, number 1. Look. Brother Raven come in late. He came in after, you know the ones that come in after the quiz already been given. They come in on purpose late to make sure that they don't get there. All right, number 1. Here we go. All right, anybody got the answer to number 1? Which scripture supports the appropriate organization of the church? Which one you got? What's that? You say D, none of the above? Anybody else got something different? There you go. The answer is E, B, and C. The answer is E, B, and C. Ephesians 4, 11 through 15, and Titus 1, 5 through 9. All right? What was the territories called that the bishops had oversight of? B, diocese. Everybody, we got that one. We don't get that, we got that one. Okay, all right. All right, number 3. What was the country bishops called? C. There you go. You got it. Y'all doing then number 4, who presided over the councils? D, metropolitans. All right? And then where in the Bible can you find an example of a council being held? Why am I getting crickets? I didn't get no choices out there, did I? Oh, I got y'all. That's what them fill in the blanks be like. Why you give me a fill in the blank question? Where is it? Acts what? There you go, Acts the 15th chapter. There you go. Y'all remember we spent a whole lot of time on that last week, didn't we? That's exactly right. That's exactly right. When Paul went, they sent Paul back to ask about shall the Gentiles be circumcised in order to become a member of the Lord's church. Remember that? I know I got on. I see you over there cheating too. I thought you had an answer. He done cheated. Good job, brother. Good job, brother. Good job. Good job. All right, so, anybody get 100? Nobody made 100. Come on, I wrote this so I can get 100. Donna don't count. Donna don't count. Donna mess up everybody's curve. All right, well, good. Well, you know, the thing is, like, it's something that I do a little quiz for you to have so you can just kind of hold yourself accountable to study. Hold yourself accountable to study. And I don't try to write them real hard. That's why I try to make them multiple choice most of the time when you have I do a little better than true false. True false is just too easy. All right, and then I may drop, like I did, drop one fill in the blank on there for you to just have, all right, to just trigger your mind. All right, so last week we spent a lot of time. We really began to lay out that fall away. And remember, we showed how that fall away was just a gradual move. It was a gradual move. And it was foretold by Paul in Acts 20. All right? And then we begin to see it manifest itself just gradually. We went from all the elders. Then we went to a presiding bishop. Then we went from a presiding bishop, all right, to a presiding to a bishop being over diocese. Then we had to break off into the diocese too big. We had to have a bishop, and then we had to have a Chrysippus, country bishop. Then then all of a sudden now, then we had to start having, we had to have meetings. And then once we started having meetings, we had to have somebody preside over that meeting. All right, he would be called a metropolitan. Is that right? Is that right? All right, so we saw it's the gradual move away. And then we see that once they started having these councils, then at these councils, then they begin to become cynics, that they would be a legislative body of some sort. You remember? They would legislate, they would start saying, okay, this is what the church is going to do. All right? And so that's kind of what we got to. All right, so we ended, I think we ended on this slide here last week. All right, in 325, so in 325 AD, the Emperor Constantine called the First General Council. The council comprised of commissioners from all the churches of the Christian world and represented the church universal. You'll see that term a lot of times even used nowadays, the church universal, which means pretty much all Protestant believers. Okay, and so you're just categorized all together. All right, Church of Christ, Baptist, Church of God, Christ, everybody. That's that church universal piece. That everybody is all together and everybody is the same and everybody is one. And that's the mindset that a lot of people take when you look at the Bible. It says many members but one body. All right, and so they take that and they say, okay, we're all one body of the universal body, the universal church. Okay, all right. Well, this is where you saw this thing begin to creep into that mindset. Okay, all right. And so, but the problem is we can't be all one body if we all doing different things. All right. When the body functions, the body ought to function appropriately. All right. The body does not function away from the head. All right. And if we all got the same, if we all got the same head, then we ought to be all doing the same thing, because the head only has one brain. That makes sense. All right. So in your body, your normal body got one brain. You got one central nervous system. All right, your brain and your spinal cord. You got one central nervous system. That's it. It's not that you got five. You got one. All right, and so whenever the limbs begin to do something different than what the brain says, then therefore there's a malfunction in the body. That makes sense? All right, if your arm just starts slapping people just out of the blue, we're thinking the brain told the arm to slap. If you can't control that, then that's a problem. All right, that means there's a malfunction in the body. Okay, all right. So this church universal thing. All right, we'll talk about that some more. Next slide, please. We'll talk about that some more here in just a minute. And next week is going to be critical. Brother Gregory will do next week, and then I'll come back and I'll hit it a little bit too in 2 weeks, because we'll need a rehearsal. We'll need a review anyway, but next week we got to get, it's some good stuff. You already got the sheet for next week, so study. So it's going to be some good stuff to help you with this whole thing. Okay, all right, from this ecclesiastical, I can't even talk today, rulers were placed over large districts. All right, remember, let's talk, remember, all right, you had metropolitans, all right, you had dioceses, all right, your dioceses were over certain areas, is that right? And your diocese, if it was too large, you had two dioceses. You had a diocese, you had a bishop, and you had a what? Country bishop, right? All right, so, but from from the council in 325, all right, they began to place rulers over large districts, and they were called the patriarchs. So basically what they did was, they said, okay, what we'll do is, we'll take all the churches and we'll bring all the churches up into 5 patriarchs, 5 regions. Let's see it that way. 5 regions. Rome, Alexander, Antioch, Jerusalem, and Constantinople. All right? It's funny how when you see that stuff and you start thinking about just movies, and you start thinking about the Roman culture, you start thinking about all that went on. Those names sound so familiar, don't they? All right. Okay. So it was broken down into, you had 5 patriarchs, which means you had 5 bishops that was over these regions, over one region. So example, I am the patriarch over the whole area of Rome. All churches that's in the Roman area. All right, I'm that guy. Now they may have bishops at their local congregations, but I am over all of those. Does that make sense? All right, I'm the presiding person over all of those. I have the authority to place and move as I need to. Does that make sense? All right, all that's going to sound familiar as you start thinking about what's going on today and things. All right, then you had Alexander, Antioch, Jerusalem, and Constantinople. So it was broken out in that area. Okay, everybody good? Y'all ready? Next slide, please. All right. Another thing that came from this time, all right, from this is when you start having distinctions between preachers and other members. All right, you begin to see the difference where you had this clergy versus laity. All right, now, what does clergy mean? That's the preachers and the preachers. All right, and then you had the laity, which is your what? Congregation, your common, just the normal member. All right, member with no title. All right, okay. So you had this begin to happen at that time. Okay, now we know that is clearly away from the pattern of the New Testament church. Is that right or wrong? All right, we were all one. Now, do we all have different roles? Yes. We have different roles and responsibilities, but at the same time, we don't elevate one over the other. Does that make sense? Okay, we don't elevate one over the other. Now, but the Bible says it says esteem them highly for their work's sake. All right, know that they labor among you. Esteem them highly for their work's sake. Now, it does not mean that you do not esteem them. It does not mean that you don't recognize it, or not mean that you don't celebrate them. All right, but you do it for their work's sake. Okay, because they've taken on the role of an elder to be able to oversee. All right, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work, and also it takes a lot of patience and all of it. They're watching for your soul. Okay, yes, that is critical. All right, you got the man of God that preaches and teaches and does all that. Yeah, we want to take care of that person and all that. But let's just be real about the whole situation. Okay, now they are men just like we are. All right, but at the same time they have different roles. So you respect the role. Am I making sense? You respect the role. We always respect the role, but we don't put them on a pedestal so where when they fall, the church split. Am I making sense? All right, because yet still they have issues too. Okay, but yeah, you take care of them. The Bible clearly teaches us that we take care of the men of God all day long. Okay, all right, it clearly states that. It clearly teaches that all over the Bible. Okay, but at the same time, you don't put them in a position to where they are up here, and the rest of the members are down here. Okay, all right, you don't do that. Okay, now. This is where the ideal of calling preachers and religious leaders father and reverend, which only belongs to who? All right, and let's take a Bible walk. Let's take a Bible walk. Somebody get Psalms 111, verse number 9. All right, so because we want to understand, okay, what we're doing here. Okay, Psalm 111 and verse number 9, I believe the Bible says what? Come on, anybody. He has sent redemption to his people. Come on. He has commanded his covenant forever. Holy and awesome is his name. Now, that's the New King James Version, isn't it? Now, who got the King James? King James says holy and reverence is his name. Okay, now the question on the floor is, back up in that verse and start reading that verse again. What is the first word in that verse say? Come on. He. Now, the question when it says he, you ought to ask, who is the he? Am I making sense? All right. Who is the he? All right. Then he explains who the he is. What the Bible say? Come on. All right. He sent redemption to his people. So we're answering the he. He sent redemption to his people. Come on. He has commanded his covenant what? Forever. All right. All right. Now, who's the he? God. All right. Who commanded his covenant forever? God. Who sent redemption to his people? God. All right. Now, keep reading down. What does it say? Holy and reverend is his name. Well, the question ought to be on the floor is, Well, why would he be holy and reverent? Because he's God. All right? And then reverent is a term of respect. Respect is respect and respectful fear. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right? And because he sent redemption, because he has established his covenant forever, all right, then he should be respected. He should be feared. He is holy. He's the one that said, he says that I am holy. Be ye holy because I am holy. Does that make sense? All right? Last time I checked, ain't no man sent a redeemer. Am I right or wrong? And no man established a covenant that will live forever. Now there's some covenants because covenants are just agreements. There's some covenants been established, all right, but they ain't living forever. Live forever. All right? So if you're going to take that term and use that term, all right, now we got to be real wise in what we're doing. Does that make sense? All right? Leviticus 19 and verse number 30.
You shall keep my Sabbath.
You shall keep my Sabbath. Come on.
And reverence my sanctuary.
And here we go. And reverence my sanctuary because I am the Lord. Yeah. All right, so look, reverend is tied to who? God. Reverend is tied to whose sanctuary? God's sanctuary. All right, okay. All right, Leviticus 26 and verse number 2. Anybody over there? You shall keep my Sabbath and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. Sound like a repeat to me, don't it? I'm just saying. 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse number 6. And we're just going to walk through these just real quick because I wanted to make sure we understand when we use terms, you got to know why you're using what you use. The Bible, they use the term reverend and father, all right, for terms of respect and terms of honor. Okay? All right, y'all ready? Anybody over there? 2 Samuel chapter 9 and verse number 6. What the Bible say? Yeah, now Mephibosheth. Now y'all know who Mephibosheth is, right? That's Jonathan's son. All right, y'all. That's Jonathan's son. You remember he was handicapped. All right. If y'all don't go study about him, he's a great study. All right. He was handicapped. All right. He couldn't walk because whenever they was coming to kill Saul, when they was coming to kill Saul and kill Jonathan, the midwife that was running out with him dropped him on his feet. All right. And when he dropped him on his feet, then at that point he became paralyzed. See, y'all looked at me like, what the word? All right, but that's good. When you know that, it's good stuff to know. All right? Okay, so now, go ahead. What did you say? Read, brother. 2 Samuel 9. The son of Saul. They come to David. Come on.
David said, Mephibosheth.
He answered, yeah.
Here is your servant.
Here is your servant. Come on.
David said to him, not fear.
Yeah.
I will surely show you kindness.
Yeah.
Your father's sake.
All right. Now. Anybody, you read the New King James, right? Yeah. All right. Drew, you got King James? All right, go ahead and read. Verse 6. Yeah.
The son of John.
Yes.
The son of Saul.
Yes.
Was coming to David.
Yes, come on.
He fell on his face.
Come on.
And he did reverence.
That's what I wanted to hear. And he did what?
Reverence.
He reverenced. Come on.
And David said,
Mephibosheth.
He answered,
Yes.
Behold,
thy servant. And David.
said unto him,
Come on here.
Fear not.
Fear not.
For
I will surely show you kindness
for
for your father's sake.
will
Restore thee.
of the land.
Yeah.
Saul,
Yeah.
Father,
Yeah.
thou shalt eat bread,
Yeah.
and the table continue.
Okay, now, boy, y'all, I'm not gonna get stuck here, but there's some showing up, teaching up in here. Go study this because there's some teaching up here. All right, now I'm gonna give you just a wee bit of background. All right, first of all, Jonathan, first of all, Mephibosheth, okay, had a blessing because of who he was connected to. All right, but he was not taking advantage of his blessing because he didn't know. All right, and then when he did know, he didn't act like he didn't even deserve it because he didn't know. All right, and he had been treated so long, he didn't feel as though he deserved that kind of privilege. All right, because see, whenever you was handicapped in those times, you was treated poorly. All right, you was treated very, very bad. Folk had to carry you around and do all that stuff for you. I mean, a bad situation. All right, but now. All right, but what Mephibosheth didn't understand and didn't know was that because he was connected to the king, he had blessings unheard of. See, sometimes when you don't know your connection, y'all know that yeah. Sometimes when you don't know your connection, all right, you waste your connection. See, when you don't know what you got access to, you don't even know what to ask for. Ooh, boy, that's some stuff right there. Yeah. See, when you don't know, he didn't know that he was supposed to be at the king's table. And he didn't do anything to earn to be at the king's table. It was because of his father's relationship with the king. Ooh. Sometimes my kids get blessed just because of who we know. Does that make sense? All right, and you want to know something else? Sometimes your kids are blessed because you know God. They're covered because you know God. Oh, y'all missed that. Because you got a relationship with God, your kids may be going all kinds of crazy, but God takes care of your kids because you got a relationship with God. Does that make sense? Yeah. God will cover them. If I had some time, I sure would work here. There was a man by the name of Job. Y'all remember him? There was a man by the name of Job. Every morning he got up and did what? Prayer and supplications for his kids, peradventure that they may have. Anyway, Mephibosheth, I'm not even going to go, but Mephibosheth, but that's some good stuff. See, whenever we do, and I need to get back to doing this, our value of new self-worth, our value of new self-worth, all right, is based off of Mephibosheth. Because Mephibosheth did not even know his own worth. All right? He did not know he was worth being in the king's palace. All right? Because he didn't know that he lived in his old self. And in his old self, he was decrepit. His old self, he was handicapped. And his old self, he was meant to be a bum and sit out there with nothing at all. And beg for alms in his old self. But because he was connected to the king by his father, Jonathan, all right, and because the king loved his father, Jonathan, all right, whenever David found out, Lord have mercy, I don't know how I'm here, but I got to go and get this. When David found out that his best friend had a son that was still alive, because Saul got killed, Jonathan got killed, but yet there was still one. David went and found him. Said, go find him. Y'all go find him. Go find him. Go find him. I've got to stand in the gap for my brother. So that's why in this text, when he comes, watch this, y'all. When he comes, Mephibosheth shows up. Mephibosheth falls on his face and reverence the king because he is the king. And he reverence him out of respect because he's the king. But then David turns around and says, hold on, son. Yeah, hold on, son. I understand you respect me, but you know what? Let me place you where you're supposed to be. Let me give you what you're supposed to have. You sitting out here begging and all that kind of stuff. You got land that's yours that you don't even know about. Anyway, can I? Y'all, can we? Because I think this is some good. Can we? Drew, go ahead and read it. What verse you in? What verse 7? Come on and read. And David said for the king. Y'all see that? All right? All right? And so when he did that, he said, fear not, son. Come on, Drew. Fear not what?
For I will surely show thee
I will surely show thee kindness. Now look, the king gonna show him kindness. Not because of just who he is, but because of whose he is. Jonathan, thy father's sake. Because of who your daddy is, I'm going to show you kindness. Because of your daddy is, I'm going to show you kindness. You are worthy of some stuff that you don't even know about because of who your daddy is. There's some good stuff right there, y'all. All right, go ahead and read just we bit more. And watch this. Wait, watch this. Hold on, Drew. I'm gonna restore. That means it has been taken away. I'm gonna give it back to you. Everything that was supposed to be his had been taken away from him. Y'all, all right? But watch this. Whose hands was it in, though? It was it was in the king's hands. And because you are connected to the king, all right, by your daddy. Now, all right, now I am king now, and I got control of everything. And now I'm going to give you back what's rightfully yours because of your daddy. Read, Drew, and I'm going to stop.
Restore thee all the land of Saul.
I'm going to give you all the land. I'm going to give you all the land of who?
Saul.
I'm going to give you everything your granddad had for you.
Thy father.
All right, thy father.
Thou shalt eat.
And thou shalt eat where? Bread where?
My table.
Hey, stop. You are not going to have to be begging bread. See, y'all remember? Y'all remember David said this. Now this was before David even said this. David said, I've been young, but now I'm old. But I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed what? Begging bread. Jonathan was his buddy. Jonathan was his best friend. Jonathan was not like his daddy Saul. Jonathan was a righteous man. Jonathan was a wonderful man. Jonathan was a man of God. Y'all look at me like I'm strange. Y'all know who Jonathan was? Jonathan was Saul's. Jonathan went against his own father for David. So when David says, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Hey, Mephibosheth was begging because he didn't know. It wasn't because he had to. He didn't know. All right, and y'all spend some time with this. All I'm gonna tell you is spend some time with this, because once you get through working with Mephibosheth, you'll figure out that if you don't think you deserve what is rightfully yours, you will give it back up and go back where you came. When you get time to study Mephibosheth left. He was at the palace, at David's house, had everything he wanted, eating from the king's table. But then he began to feel guilty for being there. His old self kicked back in. His old self of worthlessness kicked back in. And he went back out to that environment. David would go find him later and ask him, hey, well, what's wrong with you? Why you look the way you, why your toenails not cut? Why? He looked a mess. Had all these blessings. All these blessings would belong to him. Had access to all this stuff. But yet and still, because he let his old self play games with him, he went right back into the world. Does that sound familiar? All of us we got access to all this prayer. You got access to all this faith, all this joy, all this love, all this long suffering, all this tender mercy, all this kindness. But yet and still, we'll let our old self get in us, and we'll leave it and go right back into the begging elements of the world. That wasn't supposed to be tonight, but anyway, it was there. So it was. Hey, you know how it is. It was thawed out, so I went on and cooked it. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was thawed out. I might well go to cook that. But the point is, the term reverend is used for God and for kings and fathers when you look at it from the biblical standpoint. Okay? All right. Let's go. 1 Kings chapter 1 and verse 31. I think that's what I want. I haven't been here a long time, but my memory's coming back to me. 1 Kings chapter 1, verse number 31 is another example that we see. All right. We're gonna take our time. We got time. Yeah, read. Then who? Then Bathsheba bowed her face to the earth and what? And did reverence to the king. You see that? Fear, a healthy fear and healthy respect for the king. You see what I'm just going through the Bible and what his terms are used. Esther chapter 3 and verse number 2 and verse number 5. So what we'll do is we'll go Esther 2 and verses. I'm going to try not to get stuck in Esther. Because I'm going to tell y'all now, I can live in Esther. I can show enough I can live in Esther. Ooh, I love some Esther. Yeah, man. Oh boy, I love Esther. Esther was a bad girl that was there, but she wasn't supposed to be there, but God. Yeah. Esther was a bad girl now, but I like her uncle better than I like her. Her uncle. Yeah, you right. Yeah. Her uncle, the one that told her, don't you forget you're a Jew. Anyway. Esther chapter 3, and start reading at verse number 1 if you don't mind. Anybody? Yeah.
These days did King Mephibosheth
Come on.
promoted Haman,
Uh-huh.
son of Haman, Laity,
Yes, come on.
and Agonites,
Come on.
and they advanced him and set the seat above all the princes that were with him.
Yes, read.
And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverence,
Bowed and reverence
for the king
Haman.
had so commanded concerning him.
Yes.
But
Mordecai. That's him. That's that uncle.
bowed back.
He ain't bowing down to you. He ain't reverencing you.
And the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said
Yeah.
to Mordecai,
Yeah.
why transgressed thou the king's commandment?
What?
Now it came to pass.
Let me ask a question.
But they-
And first of all, we see what he was doing. The term reverence is for respect. All right? Okay. But do you notice? Y'all notice Mordecai didn't reverence. Mordecai didn't reverence. Is that right? Mordecai didn't bow down. Is that right? All right. Why? I'm gonna let that marinate. I'm gonna let y'all work on that for a minute. Why? Why? All right. Okay. But even if he was the king, didn't fear him. All right. Y'all right there. He didn't fear him. He wasn't the king. He didn't fear him. All right. But he didn't. Would a devout Jew anybody other than God. You see, Mordecai, even though Mordecai was in a different land, Mordecai knew that he was not going to bow down to anybody else other than God. And most definitely wasn't going to bow down to Haman. All right? All right? Y'all good? Okay? And we'll take a study. We'll take a trip. Anybody else spend a lot of time in Esther? Anybody else? Ladies, y'all ever spend a lot of time with Esther? Spend a lot of time with Esther. Yeah. Ladies, spend some time with Esther. I'm going to tell you something. If you got a daughter, make sure she spends some time with Esther. Yeah. If you got a daughter or granddaughter, you want them to learn Esther and know Esther. Because Esther's everything you want her to be. What? Okay, all right. So you get what I'm saying? All right, when y'all get some time, y'all want, ladies, if you want your brother, y'all can study it too. But if you want a good deep study and example, spend time with Esther. Spend time with Esther. What the Bible says, she was beautiful both within and without. I mean, that girl looked so good when she walked in. The king couldn't say, "Oh my God!" And then when she started handling herself around folks, she was just lovely. You couldn't help but love her because she was beautiful. But you ever seen them girls that they so pretty, but then when they open their mouth, they got so ugly. And I ain't talking about because their teeth jacked up. I'm talking about because their attitude is so bad. Yeah, they pretty but ugly. But then you got those ones that's pretty, and then all of a sudden they start talking. They're just so graceful. They treat everybody with loving kindness, and you're like, man, God, dog. You know what I'm talking about? See, somebody like you be, yeah. See, hey, hold on. Hey, I need a cosign. All right, so I'm still working on this. I'm trying to get through this. I want to go through these. All right, Psalms 89, verse 7. Psalms 89, verse 7. We just going through. That's what when we do. You're gonna use a word. Let's do a word search on it. Let's see what we get. All right, Psalms 89 and verse number 7. Yeah. So who should be held in reverence? God. See that? You see that? All right. Have y'all noticed it's still King, God. Y'all notice that? Kings, God. All right. Here we go. Matthew 21, verse number 37. Matthew 21. Yes. Saying they will reverence my son. They will respect and honor who? My son. All right. Mark 12 and verse number 6. Mark 12 and verse number 6. Beloved. Yes. They will reverence, and my New King James said, they will respect my son. Reverence, respect. Y'all see this? All right, now who is he talking about? Christ. Okay? Y'all see? I'm just kind of making it through here, okay? All right. Do we need to go and do all those, or did we prove our point? I think we proved our point. All right. The point is this. We ought not give anybody the name that only belongs to God. That's just bottom line. And guys, I understand I understand the rationale, but sometimes the rationale cannot, well, the rationale can never supersede the scripture. Y'all look at me like I'm straight. All right? So, go ahead.
That statement that you just made,
Uh-huh.
just like in the book of Esther,
Yeah.
God is never mentioned, but you can see him dancing
All through it.
all through the book. You can see him dancing.
That's it. That's it.
Like a ventriloquist.
Yeah.
He's taking care of business.
Yeah. All through the book, but his name is never mentioned.
Take care of people.
That's right. That's right. And so the thing is this: is you just got to be smart. We just got to, I mean, I've always said this. Now I've always taken this position. You can call somebody what you want to call them. That's you. That's you. Okay. But the idea of calling a man reverend, and you saying I'm doing it because of respect. Okay, that's fine. You can say what you want to say. But if I'm going to look at the scriptures, the term reverend and the term reverence is only meant for God. Only way you see it.
What do you say? What do you say when people call you?
Oh, what I do? Oh, when somebody says,
What they call you?
oh yeah, you know what when they say, Rem Harris, I just say, hey, how you doing? Rick is the name. And then you got to be smart enough to know when to address some things and when to just let it ride.
That's right.
Sometimes just let it ride. We're not gonna get. I get called out. Reverend so and so. I'm not gonna get up. I had one of my Lord help me. One of my assistants was so dogmatic that we'll be doing the funeral and they would say Reverend so and so. He felt as though he had to teach a lesson on Reverend right there. Right there. And I would be like, come on, dude. It's not the place, nor the time. All right? Let it ride. I get called pastor all the time. Hey, pastor. I'm not an elder. I'm not. But do you think I stop right there and go through all this extra? No. I just teach them more perfectly. Keep coming with teaching more perfectly. That's what you do. So I mean, it's some arguments is just not worth having. You teach people, and you slowly teach people. Okay, instead of using to beat people upside the head. Okay, what did we just do tonight? What did we just do tonight? We just taught it. How many of y'all knew these? How many of y'all done looked at all these scriptures? Hold your hand up. I know. No, it is not. It's just one of those things. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Okay? So now, it's our job to take the time to teach people. All right? Now watch this. When you know better, you do better. Now, if you know better and you choose to still not do better, then that's just on you. All right? Yeah, Brother G, you had something? Yeah, we just went through that. Yeah. Yeah, they do. And so you just, but the rationale, I'm just saying, because I was over there, I know. The rationale is a term of respect. That's the rationale. Okay? Now, and I understand that. But the rationale of using that term out of respect did not come from the Bible. That rationale, the rationale for using that term came out of Catholicism and out of during the latter part of the fall away of the church. That's where it came from. Okay, and we'll spend some more time with that. And so but if you don't know, I'll give y'all another one. I'm gonna give y'all another one. Give y'all another one. You gotta know. Okay? All right, now, you don't know, you just don't know. All right? How many of y'all see people get up in church and walk out with their finger up? They don't know. They don't know. They think it's out of respect. Am I right or wrong? They think it's, ooh, Lord, it's respect. That's what they think. All right? And I've seen some here that I got mad at everybody. Put your finger down. Okay? But they don't know. All right? But here it is. They've been taught that is a level of respect. Okay? Because we just passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation to generation. Okay? But nobody took the time to teach them why they hold their finger up. Okay? And now, when I taught y'all about the finger, all y'all got mad and said, I wish I would. Right or wrong? Yeah, but everybody like, what? Okay? But now we know better, and we do better, and we go places, and we see other people like, ooh, look at there. Or you're like, I can't believe you want to teach a lesson right there. Put your finger down. All right, but that's just what it is. Okay, and so what you do is you take the time to teach the people. And I'm like, I've always felt this way, and I always will be this way. I will teach you the truth. It's your choice to do what you want to do with it. If you want to stay where you are and stay in that same mindset and keep doing what you do, all right, whatever. Okay? But I've done my part. I've done my job. Okay? Are we good? All right. Ooh, y'all, we got 16. Y'all be messing up class. Y'all mess up class. All right, here we go. Let's go. All right, examples of here are the examples that the apostles. Next slide, brother. There we go. Examples that the apostles knew their place and refused to be thought of as more than me. Somebody get Acts 10, 24, 26. And somebody else get Acts 14, 30 to 50. The apostles would not allow people to place them on pedestals. They wouldn't do it. All right, Acts 10. Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. Yeah, come on. Yes. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. What a man. All right, you see that? Now, this is Peter. All right, this is Peter. Y'all remember, he's going to Cornelius' house. All right, there's two things that you got going on here. All right, you got one, Cornelius is of what nationality? The Gentile. Y'all know that. He's a Gentile. Now, this is the first time Peter is ever taught a Gentile. All right? It's 10 years after Pentecost. Okay? Now, so you got so first of all, Peter in his natural man thinks he's better than Cornelius. Because he's a Jew. Jews can't stand Gentiles. Remember in Acts earlier, God had to show him in the vision that he had to go there. Okay? Y'all with me? Yeah. Okay? So you got that going on. All right? Then you have Cornelius, who is a Gentile. All right? Knows how a Jew feel about him. Okay? But also understands it must have really took something for him to come to his house. Okay? And because knowing of who Peter was. All right? Peter was the one that preached the first sermon. Peter was with God. All right? Okay? Cornelius has been praying and all this good stuff. All right? And now Peter comes to his house. He falls down to his face. All right? to really acknowledge him and worship him because of who he was, because of his status. He had a status. Okay? But look at how Peter addresses it. Stand up. I'm just a man. You don't worship. You don't worship me. I'm just a man. You need to worship the one who sent me. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now I was talking to in some cultures, they still do that. I was talking with me and brother Sister Hubbard was at lunch, and they went to Egypt, over in Egypt and Saudi Arabia and all those areas. They went and did some mission work, and over there the women don't worship with the men. Okay, still. All right, and so they was teaching. They was over there teaching, and because they worship all kinds of gods still over there in the Middle East. They worship all kinds of gods, and say when they walked, when she walked in, they started teaching. She's teaching these women. They going, and when she walked in, the women's faces went to the floor. And they had to teach them, no, because they thought of her as a god. They would take their earrings and they would try to get parts of their hair to just keep as keepsakes to worship. See, y'all, we in a whole another environment over here. Okay, and so if you're, and that's one thing. If you ever could travel abroad, you would see some things. You would see some things, man, that would just blow your mind when it comes to church. Whenever you get a chance, and we got to stop. But if you ever get a chance to go and visit Rome, and go and visit the Vatican, and if you listen closely, you can sometimes hear those who are given the tools that know the truth. It's crazy. It's amazing. It's literally amazing. So anyway, I say all that to say we've got to be really be cognizant of placing men. And look, I'm your preacher telling you this. Okay? Placing men in positions of God. Some of us make preachers gods. It's one thing to respect the man, but there's another thing to be enamored by the man. I mean, literally, sometimes. And so you be careful of that. All right? And when you get time, Acts 14 is the other text you can go to. But it's just that the apostles in the first century church, they did not allow people to think of them more than what they were. Okay? All right? And I think it takes every preacher, every elder have got to keep themselves in check. You got to keep yourself in check. All right, because people will put you up there. People will put you up there. Okay? And let's just be real about it. Some of us like our egos being stroked. Everybody like to be told they're good. Okay? And then what ends up happening is they take advantage of people. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, so next week, all right, we're gonna go to lesson 4. You go ahead and study. You go ahead and finish your studies on, because it's right here for you, the last point. It's all in there. You can study that for yourself, okay? All right, and then when I get back, I may come back and just hit it a little bit. But next week, you got lesson 4, the church during the dark ages. I'm gonna tell you now. I'm gonna tell you, this is some good stuff. I'm telling you, it's good. All right, you ain't gonna find this in your Bible. Okay, you ain't gonna find this in your Bible. All right, this is when you had to go dig and get the history, okay, to know what's going on, and you follow, you see what happened with Constantine, and you get all this stuff, and then you see how you're gonna see next week, if he get there, he may get there. You'll see where the monks came on board. You'll see where the nuns came in. It's all gonna be in here, okay? All right. Any questions tonight before we close out? I guess I was clear as mud, huh? All right, all right. Well, prayer request tonight before we close out. Okay. Pray for PJ. All right. Yes, sir. The Gatlin family. All right. Okay. Okay. All right, Sister Lord. We shall. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Pray for you. And then prayer of Thanksgiving. I talked to my best friend today on the phone, the one that had the bad stroke. I FaceTimed and talked to him, and he even laughed a little bit. So that was a good thing, and he's getting back. He's getting back. Boy, we just thank God for that. Yes, sir. Okay, shall do. Pray for me and my family. We'll be traveling. So I'll be traveling this weekend, and I'll travel next Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. I'm going to Abilene, so just pray for me that everything goes well and that I'm safe. So, all right, we'll be standing and close down with a word of prayer. Brother Cameron, can you do that for us? Thank you so very much.